check that, better check that, better check that, better check that. Better check that, better check that, better check that. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello? Hello? Hey, do you guys hear like a weird feedback when I start to say something? You go like, and then start to talk. Hear weird feedback. Hear weird feedback. Maybe it's okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Oh, I'm trying to publish this video. So just a sec here. Have this video of the cops killing a librarian during a training drill. I'm trying to get that published. So just a sec. We'll get that because that's important. Don't you know? How are you all tonight? Thanks so much for tuning in. It's always so much nicer when you're here. In fact, it would be a completely meaningless exercise without you. So you know. I am just publishing this video right now about cop kills librarian. Librarian. D-U-R-I-N-G during training exercise. That is not how you spell exercise. There is no Z in exercise. So you know. Supersize. That is not what I'm looking for. Fucking stupid Google. How can Google correct exercise with a Z to be supersize? How is that anything like exercise with a Z? The only thing it has in common is exercise has a Z in it. Or it doesn't have a Z in it, but supersize does. Man, Google. Make me feel smart. Audio is good. No feedback. Thank you so much. That's what I am looking for. I am almost published with this video, so give me just a sec here. You guys watched the debate last night? CNN, I mean, as far as I can tell, CNN is copywriting all debate, right? They copyright. I posted a Tulsi clip during the debate. It was like the first hour of the debate, right about the beginning of the second hour of the debate, and I posted a clip of Tulsi, and CNN immediately blocked it. I mean, it got a few views, and then, which means CNN went out and looked for it and found it, and then I did an immediate counter copyright claim, saying, well, this is a fair use video and I'm posting it for educational and discussion purposes, for the general public, and they disputed. They said, no, your copyright dispute is invalid. Like it's not fair use video. Like a clip out of a debate, a presidential debate, is not fair use video. It's not like, okay, it's not like all these people, all these presidential candidates gathered to be broadcasted on CNN so that CNN could make money off of it. That is not the point, CNN. The point is to reach as many people as possible, and you have a good broadcasting platform for that. Right? Fucking CNN. Let's see. Hello, caller. Bing bong. Hey, man, how's it going? You hang up? I guess so. I can hear that phone ringing somewhere. I cannot figure out where it's ringing at. Is that it? Maybe. Okay, so I guess that's all that person had to say. But CNN, CNN, all these political candidates do not gather in this place so that CNN can make money. Okay, that is not the purpose of a presidential debate. It's so that CNN can make fucking money. So fuck you, CNN, and fuck your copyright claims, and fuck anybody else who tries to prevent, tries to act like they control the dissemination of something as important as a presidential debate. Fuck you. You don't own that, CNN. I don't care if you own the copyright on it. It's fair use video. All those people got together so they could talk to America, and by me posting it doesn't prevent them from talking to America or hurt them in any way talking to America. It helps them talk to America. It helps get the word out. And it's stupid of you, incredibly short-sighted, not to know that you want as many people as possible disseminating all of your information as much as you can get. The more people that posted the CNN debate from last night on YouTube, if every single YouTube page posted the CNN debate from last night, you know what that would mean? That would mean it was the most greatest debate of all time, seen by more people around the world than any other debate ever in the history of humankind. But you're too fucking short-sighted to understand that. So stupid fucking CNN, suck a bag of dicks. That's what I got to say about CNN right at this moment. But first, I want to publish this video. Can you just let me publish this video? Okay? Can you just let me do that? Where was that at? Was that in California? Where was that where that librarian got shot? Texas? Where is that? Fucking cops shooting a 73-year-old librarian. Cop shoots a 73-year-old librarian. What has the world come to? And we're supposed to look at them. Again, this is the pillars of the community. What has the world become? What have I become? Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to publish that now. All right, so I published the video of the cops shooting a librarian and killing her during a training exercise. A 73-year-old librarian, they picked her out of a crowd of people. They're doing a public training exercise. They picked her to help them with the training, and then they shoot her dead. Okay, I just published that. It's at the top of Mox News if you're looking to watch that. So you know. Now, the Tulsi Gabbard video, the CNN debate. CNN apparently is copywriting everybody who posted the debate. Not everybody. Apparently ABC. No, that was a different debate. Never mind. So I have posted the debate at my BitChute page. Okay, and you can find my BitChute page either by going to Google and typing in BitChute Mox News, and then the page comes right up. Or you can go to the front of the Mox News YouTube page, right here, right? The front page of the Mox News, my profile page, my home page, whatever it is you call it. And there's a banner at the top of the home page, right? The home page for the YouTube Mox News YouTube page, right? There's a banner at the top of it. It's Morro Bay. That's where I went to high school. It shows the water. It has the background, has the big rock in the background, Morro Rock, and it shows some sailboats off to the right. And then if you look off to the right on the banner, In the bottom corner of the banner, there's a little icon. It's like a round circle, and it's got like an M in it. It looks kind of like an M for Mox, but there's a round red circle in the bottom right-hand corner of the top banner on the home page of Mox News YouTube page, right? And a little tiny icon, and in that icon, that's my BitChute page. So if you want to go to the BitChute page, and what I'm finding out that's interesting about the BitChute page, right, is like I have my YouTube ID in the BitChute page application, right? So pretty much any video that I post here on YouTube, it goes up onto my YouTube page. It doesn't get all of them, but it gets about 90% of them most of the time. So and what's really interesting is like whenever I post a Kellyanne Conway video, which is pretty much well, whenever I post one from Fox News, they always copyright claim that within about 24 or 48 hours, right? So, but the BitChute page grabs that video within a few hours of, you know, however long it takes YouTube to notify, you know, my subscribers in BitChute, which can take hours or days or not at all. I don't really think it's BitChute's fault that they only get like 90% of the videos that I upload. I think it's YouTube's fault for not notifying that there's a new video, honestly. But I'm digressing. But the Kellyanne, so the Kellyanne Conway videos, interviews from Fox on the Mox News YouTube page get yanked by Fox generally 24 or 48 hours after I post them. By then, the BitChute page has pulled them over to there, so they're up on that page. So it's a good page. It's a good reference if you're looking for some more Mox News, you know, stuff. And it looks like it may be a spot where there's going to be videos like last night's debate, which is posted on my BitChute page. The full debate is posted there because you guys know that's what I like to do. I love to post these big fat videos of historical type events. You guys know I love to do that. That's what I have spent the last 16 years of my life doing. Actually, it's a little more than that. So if somehow something doesn't work on the YouTube, you know, if it says oh, that video is blocked worldwide, now I can just go ahead and I can upload it to the BitChute page if it's you know, if it happens right away. Like last night, they CNN blocked the Tulsi Gabbard video that I posted like immediately after Tulsi Gabbard was on the CNN debate, and they asked her about Syria. I posted that video last night, and then probably less than 30 minutes, CNN had blocked that video. It probably was about 10 minutes because it had, you know, 40 some views or 50 some views, something like that. So it's probably like 10 minutes. And CNN had blocked that video. And then I immediately posted a counterclaim saying, no, this is a public, you know, this is a fair use video. So I should have every right in the world to post this video. And they said, your counterclaim is not accepted. I'm like, what? Fuck you. So anyways, then I immediately went to the BitChute page, and I actually had to render that video 2 more times because BitChute doesn't like the format that I upload to YouTube, which is a MPEG-2. I don't know why they don't like that format, but they don't. So I went and I uploaded MP4, which they didn't like that one, although I re-rendered it in a different MP4 format, and it liked that one. So, but that takes a little bit long, and those take a little bit longer, and the BitChute upload is considerably slower than what I get out of the YouTube. I get a pretty quick upload out of the YouTube. I can upload a 2-hour video in about an hour from to YouTube. and then it's processed shortly after that, like fucking 10 minutes too. It takes them 10 minutes, and this it took them a couple hours to process the video over the BitChute, which is fine. At least it's there, it's up, it's not going to be fucked with by CNN. You know, the Tulsi Gabbard clip. The Tulsi Gabbard clip I reposted last night, later after they blocked the first one. I re-edited it because I looked around to see if anybody else had the video clip up, and nobody else had it except for Tulsi. Tulsi had it posted on her page, so I figured if she can post it on her page, I should be able to post it too. No, and it's a great clip. It's she calls on the BitChute page, the title of the video, the Tulsi clip that CNN blocked and then allowed last night. Later on, which I re-edited and made it a little bit shorter. The clip on the YouTube page is titled, what is it titled? It's titled, Trump has the blood of the Kurds on his hands, so do many politicians from both sides, right? Which is fucking awesome. She also went on to say, and so does the mainstream media. But she also said, she called CNN despicable, and the title of the Tulsi video on the Mox News BitChute page is Tulsi Gabbard calls CNN despicable right to their despicable faces, which is what I wanted to make the title of the video on the YouTube page, but I thought that might be another reason for CNN to, you know, jump on that video and go, nope, that's blocked, because, you know, that's why they hate her, because she speaks the truth, you know. So anyways, this is what we're doing. We're talking. Are we talking? Are we having a good time yet? Are you guys having any fun? Are you enjoying this? I have no idea. Yeah, I thought it was a good clip too, Dwayne. Thanks very much. I thought it's not just a good clip, it's an important clip. This is why I post these videos, not because they're good clips, because they're important. Okay? This actually matters. What Tulsi said is that people from both sides love war. They can't get enough of war. And it's not just the politicians. It's not just the Republicans. And it's not just the Democrats. It's both of them hand in hand with the mainstream media. Okay? And basically everybody's jaw in the fucking place, you know, all the candidates, all the fucking CNN, you know, prostitutes, the jaw just like, you know. So it was like hit the floor, you know what I'm saying? They're like, she just called us out on our fucking game, which is that we are war profiteering, war propagandist, which is the worst type of war propagandist, by the way, the ones who make profit off of it. It's one thing to spread war propaganda. It's another thing to actually profit from it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one thing to be a member of Congress and to vote for war. It's another thing to be, it's an entirely another thing. It's a whole nother fucking evil level here. We're talking about when you're a member of Congress and you vote for war and you profit from that war. You actually make money off of our soldiers being put into harm's way and killed and maimed and broken. And it's in your best interest to continue to vote to keep them there, because you make money off of every drop of blood that's spilled, not just the other side, our side too. And that's the kind of fucked up people that are in Congress. And that's the kind of fucked up people that are in the mainstream media, right? They promote endless war. No, we got to keep the troops there forever. No, you can't pull out of Afghanistan. We've only been there for 19 years. Come on. You know, and this again, this comes back to this whole thing where it's the pillars of our community, which are completely full of shit. The people that we're supposed to look to for security, for protection, you know, for understanding, for help, for you know, the truth, right? The police, we're supposed to be able to look to the police for the truth, you know, and they're all like professional fucking liars, right? They put their hand on the Bible and just do, and then say anything that they can to get the conviction that they want to get. And then there's, you know, the medical, American Medical Association, for-profit medicine. Okay, it's one thing to be a for-profit medical industrial complex profiteer, and it's another thing to say there are no medicinal qualities to marijuana, and keep that away from people who could actually help. Little children who have hundreds of seizures a week. Keep that medicine, that 100% safe medicine away from them. Cannabis. There's no medicinal qualities to cannabis. Keep that away from them so that they can make more money for the sole purpose of they being able to make more money. Okay? And again, the pillars of our community, the medical community, the people we look to for help when we're at our worst. You know, please, I'm desperate. And they're just full of fucking shit. Okay? And this is the problem. This is, and it's everywhere. The cops, the politicians, the medical people, you know, the priest, they're all fucking full of shit, you know? And we deserve better. And you know that movie, I think it's called Network, right? Where the guy goes to the window, he tells everyone he's like a evening news anchor, and he tells everyone to go to their windows and shout, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." Right? I don't want you to be mad as hell. Okay? The mainstream media, the you know, and I mean all the movies, you know, all the news, all the print, they want you to be mad as hell, because when you're mad, when you're angry, it lowers your IQ and you make stupid choices. Okay? I don't want you to be mad as hell. I don't want you to say, "I'm mad as hell." I want you to say, "We deserve better," because that's what the fact is. Being mad as hell is not going to get you anywhere. But the facts are, we deserve better. Okay? So I really want you guys to start using that term. We deserve better. When you talk about politicians, when you talk about Trump, when you talk about the Democrats, when you talk about the Republicans, we fucking deserve way better than those people. This is the best you can come up with. Are you fucking kidding me? We deserve better. Our children, I have no children, but I say our children, because it's their future. It's their future that's being taken away by scumbag war profiteers, drug war profiteers, actual war profiteers. You know, it's disgusting. Okay, so yeah, our children deserve better than some fucked up police state that just becomes more fucked up every single fucking day. Okay, we deserve better. Say it with me, people. Exactly. Dwayne understands. Thank you, Dwayne. So I really hope that you will start using that phrase more, because I think it's actually the facts. You know, it's truth. And when you say it to someone like a Nancy Pelosi, or you know, any of these, you know, a Rand Paul or something, you know, we deserve better. The only thing that they can do is look at you and say, "You're right." Otherwise, they know that they're completely full of shit, which they are anyways, which is why we deserve better, right? Did I mention this is a call-in show? I don't know. I get caught up, you know. I get caught up in this stuff. Yeah, so anyways, the East Coasters want me to do the show earlier right? The East Coasters want me to do the show at 6 p.m. Pacific. The West Coasters want me to do the show at 8 p.m. Pacific, right? So I think we're gonna split the difference, and we'll plan on doing the show at 7 p.m. Now I'm sorry that we didn't get a show done last night because of the debate. I was working on the Tulsi clip, and I was thinking, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll go live after the debate's over. I'll get it all lined up and editing, rendering, so that it'll be, by the time we finish the show, it'll be ready to upload, right?
Oops, your caller just hung up. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah. So, let's see. So I thought I'd do a show last night. I thought I'd do it after the debate, which would have been like 8 o'clock. But I was getting, everything and, ready. And then I started getting these copyright violations from the YouTube. And that really fucks with my attitude. And I wanted to come out here and go. So then I was like even more pumped up, like, all right, we got to do a live show so that we can tell everybody to go to the BitChute page, because that way, that way they'll know where they can find the Tulsi clip. I can talk about the Tulsi clip. I was all pumped up, and then I couldn't get I uploaded the Tulsi clip to the BitChute, and the BitChute said this is an unacceptable video format. Right? And it took a lot longer to upload the video to the BitChute. So I was like, fucking hell. And so then I was like, I gotta get this video up. This is an important video. So I went and I re-edited the video, and I rendered it in a different format. And I uploaded it again. And it said, this is not an acceptable format. Like, you stinking motherfucker! But I did not give up, and I rendered it again, and I uploaded it again, and it worked. And so I found a format that works, and then I went ahead and I uploaded, which took a while. I don't think the Tulsi clip was actually live on the BitChute page until early this morning. So it took a while to figure it out, and by then I was, there's really no point in me going live at. You got the East Coast guys are saying I'm going live too late already. So going live at midnight. I don't know if there's a point to that or not. We'll find out one of these days, though. We will. I got confirmation today from the flower rosin press people that they shipped out a new flower rosin press to me yesterday. So I got that going for me. And these guys have this like totally innovative thing that is like, I can't wait to show you. So hopefully we'll get that. We'll probably be doing that the first part of next week. I think we'll probably be the first ones on YouTube to actually show you this innovative new flower rosin press thing. And they seem really friendly and excited about helping Mox News make these videos happen. They said that they have 3 or 4 new machines coming out over the next few months, and that they might want us to do a review of a couple other ones too. So you never know. So I got that going for me. That's pretty cool. And today I was in a discussion with the largest brick and mortar coast to coast hydro grow store chain in America today about sponsoring a new Mox News grow. So hopefully I can get some dirt, because I'm fucking dirt poor, because I would grow my own if I could afford dirt, but I can't afford dirt. That's what dirt poor means. It says that I would grow my own food. I would grow my own food if I could afford dirt, but I can't afford dirt. I'm dirt poor. So if I have some dirt, if I could You know, if I had a little extra pizza money, I'd go buy some dirt. But it'd be even better if I get hooked up with this new hydro store, and that actually works out well, because if that works out well, that could be a very long-term relationship that could make a big difference in Mock's news, garden segments. I think I do. So I'm looking forward to telling you more about that in the very near future. Are we having any fun yet? See, I don't see my West Coast people in here. Are there West Coast people in here, or just all East Coast people? Let me see. I don't know. Are there West Coast people in here? You guys know this is a call-in show, right? You can see the phone number, right? Trump, don't be a fool. Trump told Erdogan, don't be a fool. So I hope that you will go to the BitChute page, because again, it's because of you. It's you guys that make stuff worthwhile. So, you know what? I could probably put the BitChute URL up here. Let me see if I can do that. Because if I can do that, then you could go to my BitChute page, and if you want, you could become a subscriber, and you would be able to see, regardless if you're just a subscriber or not, you will be able to see the full debate there in case you haven't already seen it and would like to. Let's see if that goes. There it is. There's the BitChute page. BitChute. Did it work? Looks like Mox. It looks like it didn't work. Did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. Good. Yeah, there's the BitChute page if anybody wants to go to that. Again, I'm really glad that that's there, because pretty much 90% of the videos that I post go right up on that page. Although they didn't seem to get anything today. Anything that I posted today, they haven't seemed to get. So those are just stuff that I posted from last night, straight to BitChute. They didn't grab it off the YouTube page. And that's at the top is the full debate from last night, and then there's the clip from Tulsi Gabbard, if you guys want to see that. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a good backup page, because if stuff does go down, it's nice that it's still out there on the internet. And although I don't know how solid the BitChute is, I'm not exactly sure how long BitChute has been around, or how I'm not sure how tight they got their setup. Like I said, it was complicated for me to get videos to upload there, and it takes considerably longer for them to upload than it does, and to process, than it does at the YouTube. Although YouTube has all the money in the fucking world, they still got to squeeze every little penny they can. We got to make another penny. No. You know what's more important than free speech? Than us protecting free speech? You know what's more important than that? Us making another penny. That is way, way more important than free speech. You guys know this. You guys appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. I am trying to do this on a regular basis so that you guys know how to get a hold of us, how to get a hold of me. Yeah, it's really, I just want to kind of build an audience for this call-in show, so that we can do. Oh shit! I still didn't put that away. I got flowers I got to put away. I want to build an audience for the call-in show, so that we can, so that when something big does happen, if there were to be an event, let's say an event or a terrorist event, that we could get on, and you guys would be able to share information that might be important, that other people might not be seeing, because that's not what the mainstream media does. It doesn't share important information, although little bits of truth do trickle out here and there, which is what I do my best to capture for you all. So, you know, I hope you guys think I'm doing a good job. I know I was a little off last week. But again, I was sick last week. You know, I had the oh man, right after summer you get a cold. And you're like, it's still in there just a little bit, but I feel much better. I'm feeling much better now. You guys remember the TV show Night Court? There was John Aston was on there. He played the judge's dad, long lost dad, and he talked about how he spent a lot of time in a mental institution. He said, but I'm feeling much better now. I love that line. I'm feeling much better now. How many Canadians are in here? How many Canadians? I know there's at least 2 of you. There's at least 2 of you Canadians in here. Yeah, I got all the bud trimmed. I got it all in glass. It's looking pretty good. It's tasting pretty good. I'm ready to start a new garden. I just need a little dirt. I need like $30 worth of dirt, and I need about $10 worth of pH down. And I could start. So if I had 40 bucks, I could start a garden. But I'm really tight right now, so I can't prioritize that if you know, if I can't take care of other things. So, and I still didn't buy butter yet, but Woolco kicked down for butter the other day, so I'm gonna get butter. Hello, caller.
Hey, dude, it's Killaloo Paul. How's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Who is this again?
Killaloo Paul, Canada.
Hey, it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, I just heard your song. I think you got all your butt trimmed right on.
Yeah.
I got to do a little bit myself there. I still got mine in the ground, and just have to like soaking up some weather a little bit more. We got a little bit more sunshine and some rain, so I figure in the next couple of days we'll.
You're in Canada and you still have plants in the ground?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we like to, like, you can let them go here, and like, we even let a frost hit them a couple of times. They even let the snow come and creep around the plants.
What?
Oh yeah, it's just like the heat that gives them an extra little invigoration, like oil protection, and like invigorates them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where BC buds, that gets that little crispiness, and like, and that's what kick them over the edge.
Huh.
Again, that little frost kind of thing.
That is.
I don't know. Maybe you can pack your stuff with ice or something.
No, I'm new, man. I don't want to try anything too tricky. I'm still figuring it out.
Like, all the leaves are like, they're all dying all around it and everything like that. But the buds are just growing, and they're.
That is freaking awesome. How do you keep it from molding with all the moisture?
Oh, it's just I'm right out in the boonies, so like, everything around there. I'm right in the middle of the bush and everything like that. So everything's got moisture around it. It adapts to it as it's growing. And these were clones that I put in too.
Right on. That's
I believe they came from autoflower ones, and I thought I was going to lose them all, and then I had to trim off all the main feeder leaves, and then all of a sudden they came back, and just a little bit of a miracle.
Wow. It's freaking cool.
I was kind of surprised. They didn't grow that tall or whatever like that, like my friends. Like, he turned out these orange groves like you had there. But I just had these little things. But it's better than nothing. And I had given up because they had a spot problem there. So they had some disease or taking problem at the beginning. So I gave up on them and just, let them go and said, whatever happens, happens. And came back, just a little bit came there. But conversely, I threw about 5,000 to 6,000 seeds all around the place too, and I haven't found one of those things growing.
Huh? Wow. Well, that's pretty cool, man.
Johnny Appleseed this year. But,
it sounds like it.
Next year, maybe.
So that's pretty cool. I had no idea that you guys let plants grow in the snow, man. I didn't even know they do that.
You don't want to let it go. Like, You want to get there in the next couple of days, kind of thing, because it starts the process in the roots or whatever that will start the molding and dying and stuff like that. So it's just you want to sit there and get out there. Right now, it's like, I mean, buyer beware kind of thing. You know what I mean? Take your chances. Some of them are like, these are all new clothes, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing with them. I just they looked really good and they looked like they needed to go like a little bit longer, get a little bit more moisture in it, so I let it go. We'll see how she takes. Because I tried a little sampler. I pulled one, like, I mean, one of the things, it was just a dwarf. It was only about maybe 2 feet tall. And so I pulled that. I was going to sample it, and I just said, the hell with it. I'll pull the whole thing. I tried it out, and I tried it, and it was still a little greeny tasting, so I just left the others in and did the Great Canadian Weight Contest.
You know, you got to have patience. All good things come in time.
Yeah. Well, we got a little spot here too with the native reservations here. It's still legal for them to sell. You don't have to go through the government, so that's only a couple of miles down the road. So we have like shelves of opportunity.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, oh, that's great. It's like half the price of what the government.
I hear it's still pretty expensive up there, man.
Oh, my friend went to one of the government places the other day. They have, get this, they get one joint. The guy goes and he asks you what you want. He picks out of a bottle, and they put it in one of the spinners, and it turns on and it rolls up one joint. And then they take the one joint and they put it into a box, and then they take the box and they wrap it in a Canadian label on it, like the cigarettes. And then charge you $8.75 or like.
Oh, that is ridiculous.
But it's legal.
Well, that
it's just a crock of shit. It's just another money grab from the government kind of thing. And when the government changes over, if the changes conservatives, they might make it all illegal again, and then bust everybody there too.
Right, but at least
having all these places open up and then bust them, and find them, and open them up, and like startup costs, and then, you know.
Well, they can't bust them if it's legal, and they didn't bust them when it was, and they didn't bust them when it was illegal.
They were hemming and hawing about making it legal. And like Trudeau was taking too long, and it was actually Ontario's Premier Ford, the brother of the guy that was
the crackhead. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. I don't want to talk evil about the dead, but he has his funny moments too. He was like a bit of a loose cannon. But anyway, his brother, as soon as he got in there, he legalized it in Ontario, and that just sort of like hamstringed the government into legalizing it too all across the country.
Well, Trudeau was definitely dragging his feet with the whole thing for sure.
It's all, and everything is like, I mean, to a point where they haven't even done the laws right and testing procedures that they have for, like, I mean, highway traffic and everything like that. The first time anybody does it, it's going to be challenged under the Canadian Rights and Freedoms Act or whatever. Like, I'm a person on a disability. I've got a prescription for this. Why isn't it covered under the whole, like the provincial medication thing, like everybody else's diabetic medication or, you know, anything like that?
Yeah.
And if it's a legalized medication and I've got a prescription for it, why isn't it covered under my drug plan?
Yeah. Right. No,
Why is the government being an extortionist kind of thing twice as much as what the dealer down the street would sell it to you for?
Exactly. No, but I'm telling you, the prices are going to come down because otherwise they just it's down here. You can buy ounces for $50.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Like all the green thumb outlaws that I know have quit because they just can't make any money anymore.
That's in a store, you mean?
All the ones, in the store it's $50 an ounce.
As well. I got the reds here, like about as cheap as they go is about 80, and that's their off, like that's their local stuff and everything like that. But their higher end stuff, I mean, God, there's still some of the stuff on the top shelf there you're paying $70 for a quarter for it.
Yeah. Oh, you know, they have stuff here that's more than that. It's like $80 an eighth.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know, but it's just like, I mean, sometimes it's worth it.
I don't know. I can't afford that. So I haven't bought any weed forever. I have people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people give it to me, and people give me a lot of weed, and then I grow my own. So I'm pretty good.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
You got some land then, obviously too, buddy.
Just my backyard.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I got my Gorilla Grow. I want to start some Christmas trees back here, but I need to buy some dirt. So I'm trying to get a sponsor, but you know, that takes time. I told them I want to get this going for Christmas, man. I want to grow Christmas trees, so hopefully they'll be like getting back to me right away.
Do a GoFundMe page.
I have a GoFundMe page. Here, let me put it in the chat room for you.
That one, though.
What's that?
Do it just for that one. Do it just for that concept, though.
Oh, okay.
I want to be green for Christmas.
I mean, I don't know the point of doing a separate one, because I just want to, you know, I don't know. I got plenty of stuff going on, dude. I don't want to manage a whole bunch of stuff. I'm doing this, and I want to be green for Christmas. I want to grow Christmas trees for Christmas, and I think that would make a really nice background for our daily call-in show. You know, a couple of Christmas trees with bulbs on them and stuff, blinking lights.
Yeah, cool.
Don't you think that would be awesome?
Yeah.
So
Gibson in the background doing a drug bust. Sorry, I just got that scene from the movie coming out of my mind. They're like doing his Twitch, hiding behind a Christmas tree. Anyway, good to see that things worked out there for you. You got all your harvesting done. I was watching you. You seem to be enjoying yourself while you're doing your old trip.
yeah, I'm gonna post all the videos from that garden too here in shortly. From the summer garden.
I got a couple of friends watching the other too. They were harvesting and doing their trim and watching you doing yours, so it was kind of a weird Canadian connection.
Yeah, you know, it's like when I get ready to take a bong hit or something, people are like, wait for me.
Right on, dude. You take care of yourself, okay, brother?
All right, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem, man. Take care. Bye.
All right. So again, this is one of the really nice things about doing the call-in show, is that
you need to press 1 to take this call.
I pressed 1. Hello, caller.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I am good. Who is this?
I timed it perfect, man. This is Extreme Dad. I was in the chat trying to figure out how to call, so I timed it perfect, man. I'm glad to hear from you. How's the night going?
It's good. I mean, I got confirmation of a new flower press headed my way, so that's really cool.
Yeah. What does that mean?
A flower press? It's like
yeah.
It's how you make a flower rosin out of cannabis. It's like 2 pieces of steel that heat up to about 200 degrees, and then you put a piece of bud in between them, and you press it down. And this golden ooze comes out of the bud, right? And you press it at about 5,000 pounds of pressure or so. So I have one of those coming. Yeah, I have one of those coming. It'll be here. Hopefully
so
this.
Live in a state where obviously they've legalized it.
I live in Seattle.
Okay, I'm right down from you. I live in Washington as well, so we're neighbors.
Right on. Are you taking it?
I'm originally from Oregon.
Are you taking advantage of the cannabis legalization?
I personally am not into it, but I it's just not my thing. I mean, you know, I understand, like, I support it. I mean, do your thing, obviously, but it's just not for me personally. I like to be in full control of my body. You know, you never know. I have a lot of enemies, so.
A man has got to have priorities.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you. The first time that I saw your channel, the reason that I'm subscribed to you is you were the only person who posted the first 2 Democratic debates, in total, like, just as is, you know.
Yeah.
No cuts, no edit.
Yeah.
So what type of political ideology do you hold?
I think Democrats and Republicans should be banned from participating in U.S. politics forever.
And who would participate?
We should create probably 5 or 6 or 8 new parties, something like that, you know, along with the Green Party and the Libertarians, and just outlaw these people that have led us down this path of never-ending wars.
Well, I mean, wars. Is that really? I mean, I was in the army. I served in Afghanistan and whatnot, and can we really blame our politicians for that? Or, I mean, is it something that is human nature?
You know what? The politicians are funding the Pentagon in the military-industrial complex to spread weapons of death around the world in mass quantities. And the only outcome of doing that can be the creation of war.
Well, chaos is the nature of man. I mean, if we are going to say that, American politicians are responsible, that's kind of a leap of faith that I'm not sure I'm willing to take. If American politicians didn't do whatever it is that you're saying that they do, that continues this war, this wheel of death, like you're saying. If American politicians are responsible and they stop doing it, somebody is going to step in to fill that gap. I mean, the Lord of War always sells his guns,
The war in Iraq was based completely on lies, fabricated in the Pentagon and the White House. It cost us trillions of dollars, thousands of human lives, 1 million innocent Iraqi lives, and absolutely 100% because of American politicians.
Now, is that fair when there was a little bit of a precursor to that, wasn't there? There was a little bit of a thing that kind of required some answering, wasn't it?
Like what?
9/11? I don't know.
Iraq had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11.
Obviously, but I'm saying that there's some outside influences other than the American politicians just making it up in the Pentagon. There are things that happen. I understand that Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden and all of these people have to share some responsibility along with the American politicians, right?
The American politicians funded and trained Al-Qaeda.
I mean, chaos is the nature of man, though. I mean,
you keep saying that, okay, and it's like something that you're clinging to, okay? Well, the facts are these people in Washington, D.C. are 100% culpable for the deaths of 1 million innocent Iraqis, and they all belong in prison in order to make the world a safer place for little children.
Well, I mean, the little children, I think, are probably have bigger, fish to fry. I think they're a greater risk to little children right now than the American politicians. Although at the same time, I look at these people, and I guess I would agree with you, if not for different reasons, that a lot of these people are absolutely sick. I mean, if you look at the situation going on right now with the impeachment proceedings and the criticizing of Donald Trump pulling the troops out of Syria, it is kind of a sickening thing to watch, And I do agree with you that these people are probably evil deep down. Evil does exist, and certainly they're probably evil in their heart of hearts.
If they vote to keep the war going, and then they actually make money off of war profiteering from that war, they have continuously, endlessly voted to keep going. Does that make them evil?
Gosh, you have this thing about war that I feel like is kind of humanized. I don't know. I understand that war is bad. I mean, violence is always bad. But at the same time, I mean, hang up. I won't say it again. The thing is that people fight. You know what I mean? Like, their wars are going to happen regardless. The U.S. gets involved in wars, but I mean, like, it's kind of just a thing that people do. I mean, everybody is kind of fighting a war, don't you think? Or two. or 3.
Because this is what the U.S. economy is based on. Because the U.S. economy and the U.S. politicians are shipping giant boatloads of weapons everywhere they possibly can.
Well, because our allies need the weapons to fight the enemy.
Really, all our allies in Africa need boatload after boatload of fucking ammunitions to fucking fight the enemy. Is that right?
I mean, I don't know the situation on the ground there, but I mean, they probably help. I mean, the weapons probably help. What about
the weapons? The weapons are what make little children lose fucking limbs and get shot and die.
Yeah, sometimes. That probably has happened. I'm not trying to deny that. I mean, and that's a horrible thing. I mean, I wish that was better, and I wish that didn't happen. But I mean, there's technology solves so many problems today. What do you think about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is a horrible human being. He has been a horrible human being since he was about 3 years old. So you know.
But he's not that bad. Can we at least think he's not that bad?
He's not any worse than Hillary Clinton. Let's put it that way.
Now, what has he done in office that has been anything?
See, now you sound just like an Obama supporter, don't you?
Well, I'm just wondering, like, what? Because people always tell me that, like, oh, he's so bad, and I'm just wondering, like, I haven't been personally impacted by anything that he's done.
He is ruining relationships around the world that the U.S. has been building forever. Okay?
Yeah, but we've been getting fucked. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can say fuck. You can say fuck. And we are getting fucked. And we're getting fucked by the U.S. politicians who allow this shit to go on endlessly.
But there's this quote from Donald Trump. He's talking to the president of China, and he's like, we will no longer allow the U.S. wealth to be squandered, stolen or transferred. And, that moment where he kind of stands up and says, listen, we're not going to take any more shit. We're going to start, really standing up for ourselves. I feel like that is good. Now, that might be a relationship with China, but who cares? We had good relationships with people because they've been screwing us over. If we have a worse relationship and a better trade with them, I'm happy with that. What about Hunter Biden?
What about Hunter Biden?
Did interview today? I was actually looking for it. I thought you might post it on your channel.
I tried to get the interview with him. I don't know. The fucking DVR acts stupid as fuck. I'll go to look like there's one thing that I want from the 7 o'clock, the 7 a.m. hour is the Hunter Biden interview, and it saves everything except for that one thing that I want. Fucking stupid DVR.
Well, I'll say, do you have an email? You have your Patreon and stuff listed, right?
Yeah, it's in the text body of this video.
Yeah, if I can find it, I'll send it to you in an email, or I'll post it on your Patreon page or something. But the thing is that you do great work for us. I mean, without you, you're a very valuable piece of the YouTube puzzle, because I don't have like cable TV, and like I've never watched that stuff,
Uh-huh.
So like for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of people, you fill that gap for us, So I can come to your channel and I can see like what happened on cable TV,
I'm just trying to do the right thing, man. It's not the right thing by Republicans, not the right thing by Democrats. I'm just trying to do the right thing for everyone.
Yep. Hey, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, I kind of consider myself a traditional conservative. I like to conserve, how things are.
Do you think that? Wait, let me ask you a question. What? Now, a traditional conservative. What exactly is a traditional conservative?
A traditional conservative is going to be somebody who values the freedom for you to have the right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. It's not about getting anything from the government. It's not about, it's about you being free and having freedom to do as you wish.
Yeah, I can back that. I think a traditional conservative is very close to what you're saying, and small government, as small as possible
Yeah.
government, not affecting everybody's lives in every way it possibly can. Just taking care of what it has to take care of, and that's what keeps its
Exactly.
nose out of everybody's business. Doesn't care if men are marrying men or what you're doing in your bedroom. It's none of their damn business. And that's the way
Well,
it should be.
and that's the thing. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And most conservatives do it. I hear all the time.
I don't think that
people-
I don't think that most conservatives are that way. I believe that most people who identify as conservatives today in 2019 are are uh, are social conservatives, meaning they want to impose their values onto you as opposed to imposing freedom onto you and letting you live your life the way you want. They want to tell you at every turn how you are supposed to act.
There's probably some truth to that. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to watch that behavior. And I bet there is some truth to that, because I have been seeing a shift in everybody's habits lately, everybody's behavior. And, it has kind of led me down to a path where it's like, I'm not sure what tomorrow is going to hold, because when we look at ourselves as a country, when we look at ourselves as a community, when I look at conservatives, like you were just saying, we have really lost our moral basis. I mean, people have lost everybody's so individualist, individual-ish.
It's because there's this thing where people want to identify with these labels like conservative or liberal or Republican or Democrat. It's like you when they self-identify in that way, I think it's very dangerous for the simple reason that when someone else identifies you like that, it's for the sole purpose of putting a label on you so they can disregard you from that point forward. Oh, this guy's one of those. I don't have to pay attention to them anymore. So, and that's the purpose of saying, oh, that's a Democrat. That's that's a wingnut. That's a kooky liberal, whatever. You know what I mean? But when you do it yourself, when you attach these labels, I think you kind of paint yourself into a corner and then have to identify with these groups that aren't really representing you. And I find that's what's led us to this quagmire, this mess that we're in now.
Well, and do you believe that any of these politicians care at all about the things that they're saying?
I believe that some do. I believe that some do. I do. I mean, I think that like when you look at Ron Paul, I think that he was always trying to get this message out. When you look at Dennis Kucinich talking about being anti-war, he was always that. It was from the heart, And when you look at Tulsi Gabbard and she talks about the troops and how she fucking genuinely cares about the troops, she calls them her brothers and sisters. No one else does that. I think that she's being very genuine about that.
Sure. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard, definitely one of the rare exceptions. As of course, speaking like Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and Trump runners who talk about Elizabeth Warren is a great example of somebody who talks a lot of she's a very big social justice advocate.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she cares at all about what these people, actually want or need. I don't think that she cares about anything other than herself and power.
All that seems to matter is is getting elected, getting reelected, and I will pander to whatever group it takes in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean that seems so crazy to me. But okay, well, I'll let you go. But what? First of all, I want to say one thing. Thank you for having me on. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for calling.
One more question before I go. What do you think that the future has in store for us?
I think. See, I have a music page. I have a music playlist on the front page of my YouTube page, and in that you'll find a video by Bjork called "Big Time Sensuality," and she says, and at the beginning of that video, she says, "I don't know my future, and I don't want to. You know, because if you knew, it wouldn't be any fun. There would be no adventure. You know, so I don't know what's going to happen, and but I know I have this feeling that something really big is about to happen. Something you know, that's going to change the course of human history. I think that that's about to happen anytime in the not too distant future. So
I
but
feel that too. I think it's fun.
yeah. So, but I don't
Thank
know
you
what
so
it
much.
is. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for calling. It's good to hear from you.
You too. Have a good day.
All right. And again, as I was saying before we got so rudely interrupted, this is the reason that I love doing the call-in show, because if you look in the comments of the videos, you know, the comments are they're just filled with anger. You know, they're just angry, angry, angry. But when we do the call-in show, you know, it's people who want to communicate with each other. You know, it's you know, they want to touch bases. They're glad to have this opportunity to connect and make this happen. And that's a big part of why I really like making this happen, because I know we can move beyond these labels. I know we can. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be incredibly tricky, by the way, to move beyond all these labels that not only other people put on us, but that we put on ourselves. But we have to move beyond the labels so that we can all come together. Because these politicians, the powers that be, the media, the thing they want most of all is to slap that label on you. And then, but what they want even more than to slap that label on you is they want you to slap it on yourself. Once you slap that label on yourself, it's hard to get off, man. And it will push you directions that you don't really want to go. So don't attach those labels to you, because you're a free spirit. You're a person living in this moment right now, and you may decide that you don't want to go that way. You want to go this way, and that you don't like what that person's saying anymore. But if you got that label on, and that guy's got that label on, it's going to be really hard to say, I don't like what that person's saying anymore. It's going to be much more difficult anyways. Hello, caller.
Hey, Michael Knight, this is Dwayne. How you doing this evening?
Hi, Dwayne. I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks so much for your generous contribution, sir.
Hey, buy yourself a pizza, and with the change, buy a little bit of dirt.
I'm working on the dirt, man. I'm working on the dirt.
Okay, then just go for some dirt, man.
I'm working on the dirt. Thanks so much for the pizza, man. I really appreciate it. Very nice of
no
you.
problem. I love this show. I love this channel. And you know something? I'm glad that that extreme dad called in and actually and talked to you. I was actually glad to hear all he had to say, and I liked the debate back and forth between the two of you. I really did. That's what your call-in show is all about. And you know what? I'm glad that that you're doing this. I really am.
I think it's a good thing, Dwayne. I think we can, if we can kind of build a little bit of an audience, you know, keep building it to where it's kind of a solid foundation of an audience, that if any really big events do come up, you know, it'll be pretty interesting discussions, and we may actually come to some important conclusions from those discussions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would absolutely suggest that everybody that puts comments in your chat room, you know, on this live YouTube, call in, because, like, seriously, this is really good to get other people's opinions. You know, I'm pro-Trump. You know, I'm pro-conservative and anti-libtard.
Hey, what'd I just say about attaching labels to yourself, man?
Okay, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I am proud to wear pro-life label on me, and I'm proud to wear anti-vaxxer. And anyone who calls me those, I just take that as a badge of honor, brother. I really do. I am a proud anti-vaxxer. I love the fact that I'm not shooting my children up with monkey pus and just shit from these former Nazis from Operation Paperclip. I'm absolutely proud of myself that I finally figured that out about Big Pharma, that are just shooting up all these children and make them retarded so they have stupid ass voters for the next 20 years. And you know, all those voters, like I'll be honest with you, all those voters are going to vote Democrat and libtard, every single one of them, because they won't be able to have children because their balls are all screwed up and they're not fertile anymore. So they're not going to have children and go beyond being a libtard to being a real man, being a conservative, and loving family and loving life and working a job and doing all those things. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about me, Dwayne?
No, I'm talking about me, man. I got 6 babies in this home. And I know you bust your ass every day, and I'm so thankful for what you do. And I'm so thankful for Mox News. I really am. If I wasn't thankful, buddy, I wouldn't give you a fucking dime. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
So
I get it, Dwayne. You're trying to do right by me because you see me trying to do right by you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know something? You're fair. You're fair in what you're doing. You're showing the hypocrisy of both sides. I really love when you show the hypocrisy of the left, which I think you do a better job at, because I think there's actually more hypocrisy on the left. But look, if I'm going to wear a badge, all right, I'm going to wear anti-vaxxer and pro-life. I'm going to hate pro-choice. I'm going to hate feminazis. I'm going to hate the pharmaceutical companies because I have a right to do so. And
you do, Dwayne. But let me be real clear, okay, bro? Hate is what the powers that be want you to do. Okay, they want you to hate. The last thing they want is for you to reverse that and love those people. Okay, and you know this is true, and you know that's what Jesus would want you to do.
Okay. All right, look. Like, it's really hard to love a woman who's gone out and had 3 abortions when you watch the movie Unplanned, okay? Which was totally, like all about a lady who was running an abortion clinic with Planned Parenthood. I'm sorry to get on this. Look, this is one topic no politician wants to touch, and I wish they would have the balls to say something about it. All the liberals, at least in this Canadian election, no matter what, everyone left the center. You know, there's no laws in Canada like there is in the United States. Like, at least some of the southern states there are passing, heartbeat bills, okay?
Yeah.
We don't even have that in Canada. So who knows how many babies are being chopped up as they're coming out the birth canal? You know what I mean? Like, we don't even have any idea in Canada what's really going on. We have to stand up for innocence.
Dwayne, why does that affect you?
Because I have 6 children. I watched 6 children pass from a birth canal.
Okay, but I mean, and
the fact that, like, look, after 3 months, you feel your wife next to you, and there's something in her moving around.
Okay, so what? Abortion is okay until 3 months?
Look, until a heartbeat. I agree with Georgia. I think it's Georgia and Louisiana. I agree with that. At heartbeat, absolutely, no more. And you know what? If you're a fat woman who's 400 pounds and doesn't know she's pregnant, then oh well, lose some fucking weight first. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm sick of the whole idea of fat shaming and all that stuff as well. Like, I'm just sick of that. I'm sick of this identity politics, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. And you know what? If everyone's going to be a feminazi, and look, my wife is walking right by me right now. All right, beautiful woman, has 6 children. All right, she thinks it's absolutely disgusting too. But I'm telling you, and that's a woman. All right, that's a woman, because all these women who say, "Oh, men can't say nothing," bullshit. All right, because seriously, my wife is a great woman, a beautiful woman. She's had 6 children by me. And only me. You know what I mean? There's just something that, like, do you ever watch the show? You know what I recommend you do, Mike?
See, the thing is, Dwayne, the thing is that there's all these children in the world, that are alone. Okay. And and I don't understand how we need, 60 million more of them.
Well, then you know what? Then let's get rid of all these old libtarded women that have hairy legs and don't want to have children, and they say the world's overpopulated. Then you know what? I'll be the first one to give them $5 and say, go jump off a bridge for all I care. I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you. Putting out hate like that, like that the world's overpopulated. Come on. Canada's huge.
I'm not saying that the world's overpopulated. I'm saying there's all these children in the world already who are alone. They have nothing and no one. And millions and millions of them. And I don't understand how we need millions and millions and millions more.
Then perhaps Planned Parenthood should give out condoms instead of abortion.
They do. And isn't there,
really?
isn't, yeah, of course they do. And isn't, of course they do.
Give out more.
And isn't,
and actually condoms suck, honestly.
yeah, I fucking hate condoms. But I just don't, I don't understand. Do you really want more and more people in the world? Do you really think the world needs more and more and more people?
There's no reason why we can't have more and more people. There's absolutely, look, the carrying capacity of Canada. Now, maybe that's why the Americans are shipping their unwanted immigrants into Canada via that one road that goes into Quebec. I get all that. America's doing that. Well, okay. How can they be refugees in Canada when they're coming from New York? Okay. How can they be refugees in Canada when they're coming from New York? They're not being persecuted in New York.
Well,
but there's millions. All right, look, and refugees ain't the problem. I don't have an issue with that. Like, in the Canadian election, there's only one party in Canada that wants to lower immigration, and that's the PPC party and Maxime Bernier. And I really hope that you do cover the Canadian election on Monday, because I know you love Canada, and we love you, Max. And, perhaps you might want to just cover that on Monday, probably.
Yeah. No. I definitely will get some election stuff going on. Whenever I write a letter to like a new sponsor, like these guys are sending me out the flower press, I always put in there that I believe that I have a solid 10% of my viewing audience is Canadian. I put it in there because Canada just, doubled the legal cannabis, market. So.
Well, I know that Uncover the News in your chat room, and one of the other guys in there is Canadian. So
yeah.
No matter what, yeah, it's exactly 10%. There's probably more Canadians in there for all I know. But like, but you're like from Seattle, which is kind of like Canada just to the south. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the BC area. British Columbia, in our national election, they're actually going to get 4 members of the Green Party elected into government.
And you hate that, right?
No, not really.
Okay,
not
good.
Really,
because I think that's awesome.
I don't want to drink chemicals. I don't want to drink, pollutants in the water. Just because I'm conservative doesn't mean you have to dump oil down the sewer.
Well, I think conservative should mean really. I think the people that consider themselves to be conservative, if you're not talking about social conservatives, actual conservatives, those people should be the real stewards of the planet, because they don't want the government involved in everything, but they want to make sure that resources are there forever. You know what I mean? It's simple. It's so simple. We could fix this if we can just move beyond this, these identifying, labels, man. I'm telling you, we can fix this, Dwayne. We can, because how I know that for sure is because you tell me that you can't stand the libtards. You say libtards over and over again, like, like you're saying gooks or dink bastards or something, it's like some kind of a racist slur. And And but then you say that you're not really bothered that the BC is going to elect for the Green Party, you know. So and those got to be libtards coming out, you know, the biggest libtards of all, right?
Well, they're all right with clean water. You know, I'm not really cool with the carbon tax, honestly, because
Carbon tax won't work.
The politicians like Justin Trudeau, they put a carbon tax on us Canadians, buys 2 planes to travel across Canada, you know, burning tons and tons of fossil fuels.
Yeah, carbon tax won't work.
No, because look, I took chemistry in university. I took biochemistry in university. You know, like carbon dioxide. Do you know, Mr. Mike, what the actual greatest greenhouse gas is in our atmosphere? Of the top 10 gases in our atmosphere, take a guess.
I guess methane, but I don't know.
No, because you've been told it's methane. You've been told it's carbon dioxide. You know what it is? It's water vapor. And because when it's 30 degrees Celsius plus humidity, okay, that's when it feels like it's 40 degrees and you sweat like a pig at work. Okay, it's water vapor. It's not carbon dioxide. It's not methane. In fact, if you look at any great textbook by an environmental scientist like I study, it's actually water vapor is the greatest greenhouse gas there is. You know, stand in the shower. If you turn on the steam, it gets hotter. If you just stand there and breathe, expelling, you know, making the carbon dioxide greater, it doesn't get hotter. Do you know what I mean? And this is what bothers me about things like Greenpeace. You know, brother, I used to be a member of Greenpeace. I used to give them $20 a month. Until that whole, I did. I absolutely did. I used to get all their magazines and everything. And in Canada, I used to support the NDP, Mr. Uncover the News, okay, in your chat room. I used to support the NDP, but they're bullshit artists that, like, they're frauds, man. Like, oh, it's so frustrating. They're total frauds. And Justin Trudeau bought 2 planes to cross the country and back. And Maxime Bernier, the guy that I voted for in the Canadian election, is probably, I don't know, maybe he's driving a car from the 1960s or something, you know, just wasting gas, whatever. Who cares? Like, Trudeau's flying in 2 planes. Like,
you don't like my 61 Falcon, dude?
I love the 61 Falcon. You know what?
My 61 Falcon's beautiful.
Mike, I love you, man. And keep this channel going strong and keep the call-in shows going. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind staying up the extra hour to partake and participate in your call-in show. This is a great call-in show, and I would absolutely suggest that everybody in the call, in the chat room, call. Wolko, I love hearing from you. You're a very smart person, and you know, everyone's opinion matters on Mox News. I just want to tell you that, Mike, and go buy some dirt.
Go buy some dirt, man.
And some dirt, or
pizza.
You know,
I like
whatever.
pizza. Thanks,
Mike,
Dwayne. Tell Jane I said thanks.
I will. And peace, love, and happiness to you, Mike, and to everyone in the chat room. Have a great evening.
Okay, back at you, Dwayne.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for calling. See, and this is what I'm saying. It's not just a matter of that you know, in the comments everybody's angry and, you know, there's like, you know, headbutting clashes going on, but it's not just that. It's that and then when we do the live call-in shows, that people are able to communicate, and there's not the anger is not there, but that's what I'm saying, is that me and Dwayne, right, we don't see eye to eye. You know, I'm not pro-life. I don't want to be involved in that decision at all. I think the abortion decision is never ever going to be something that affects me. You know, it's a conscious decision that I make. It's never ever ever been something that affected me, and never ever will. That being said, I absolutely don't want it to, right? I don't want it to in my personal life, and I don't want it to in your life. I want you to live your life the way you deem fit. This is what I have to do for my life. Dwayne, you understand this. You probably have all these things that you have to do for your life. This is what, for my life, I have to do this, and it would be like ridiculous of me to look at you and say, no, you don't need to do that. Don't do that. You know what you have to do in your life. Okay. And some of that stuff may not be what you want to do. I bet some of it's not what you want to do. But, you have to do what you have to do. Okay. And I have no business being involved in that decision, nor do I want to. Okay. As long as it doesn't affect me, I really could give a fuck. And it's not really that I could give a fuck. It's that I want you, as God wants you clearly, to have that freedom to make up your own mind. God, if you believe in an all-knowing, creator God wanted you to have that freedom to make up your own mind. This is why I love saying, fuck God. Because I don't think when God hears me say that God thinks that I'm doing something negative. I think God goes, keep it up, Moxie, that you're my boy, buddy. Because God gave me that freedom. And God appreciates the fact that somebody has the balls to use it, even if just in jest. Because I'm not saying fuck God to offend you or God or anybody. I'm saying it because I have the freedom to do that. Okay? And I'm not afraid. Okay? So, and also, God is beyond my pay grade. I got it is impossible to imagine what God must be. And yet everyone has this vision of what God is. It is impossible. And for those of you who envision Donald Trump as God, I will guarantee you that nowhere throughout history can you find someone with fake gold hair and fake orange skin pretending to be God. So God doesn't fake anything. God is good with gray hair because God's not seeking your approval. Anyways, and that's, again, I'm not seeking anyone's approval. It'd be really nice if you could kick down for some dirt, or a pizza. Dwayne is super generous to kick down for pizza. Wolco is super generous to kick down for pizza. If you want to do that, that would be super generous of you also. And maybe without a sponsor, I can still go and get some dirt. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, right. Fuck God. This is what I'm saying. It's like you have your vision of what God is, but it's impossible. It's an impossible thing to imagine. So fuck that. That's just it's a distraction. Okay. And it's also programming. It's something that someone programmed into you to say, this is who God is, and this is what God expects of you. Here's what God expects of you. Okay. God expects you to go and live your life the way you see fit. That's why God gave you the freedom to do that. Not what some church is telling you you're supposed to do, or some holy man is telling you, some priest, some cop, some politician, some medical doctor. God wants you to decide. That's why God gave you the ability to make up your own mind. So don't let all the programmers tell you who God is, or anybody else, or what anybody expects of you is somehow that's what matters. Okay? What matters is what you want to make happen and what you do make happen. And that's what you want to be making happen. Because most of us, I don't think, are doing that. I don't think most of us are making happen what we really want to be making happen. I mean, I'd like to get laid more, but what are you going to do, right? So there you go. Maybe if I had more pizza money, I'd get laid more. All right. I'm getting hungry, you guys. So, this is a call-in show, right? You heard Dwayne. Dwayne was like, hey, all you guys should call in, and then no one does. 805-669-6397. 805-669-6397. Just in case you want to call, because I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to do this for with no calls. I'm hungry. I can smell my roommate's barbecue, and I can smell the chicken on the barbecue. I think that's probably what's making me hungry. I'm like, rawr, rawr, me like food. It's true. I like pizza. Anybody want to buy me a pizza? Okay, so I think tomorrow we'll come out here at 7 p.m. because, again, the East Coasters want me to come out 7 p.m. Pacific. The East Coasters want me to come out at 6 p.m. Pacific. The West Coasters want me to come out at 8 p.m. Pacific. So if we come out at 7 p.m. Pacific, I'm splitting the difference, and hopefully we'll get the best audience that way. Because it's always nicer when you guys are here. Okay, so sorry we didn't get out here last night. I was overwhelmed with the debate and trying to make a couple other things happen, and but hopefully tomorrow is Thursday, and we'll do another show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And because I think it's good, right? I think when we touch bases, when we talk about these things, that it's good. This is how we're going to move forward. This is how the species as a whole is going to take back our planet and move forward into a 21st century that is more like what we hope it will be. I think that's how we do this, is by us reaching out and connecting with each other. And YouTube has screwed it up. I think YouTube has done something that it makes it agitates you. The chat, something about chat agitates people, about texting agitates people. So I think when we talk, though, it's like I hear the human in you, and you hear the human in me, and you can see it, and you can feel the human in me, in my voice. You can feel it in you, what it is I'm trying to convey. And so that's why this is important, and that's why we're going to keep doing it, so that we can all hopefully come together and take back our planet and make it into the paradise that it is meant to be, that we are meant to be custodians of. And we're all supposed to be dancing and partying it together, hand in hand, celebrating this moment and this place. Because we could be doing that, or we could be doing war or other bullshit for-profit crap that doesn't get any of us anywhere except for the war profiteers. Hello, caller.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, man.
Hey, it's Chris from Olympia. How are you doing?
Okay, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Did you finish the program, or are you still with your program?
Well, you're here, so we can't finish it yet.
All right, fair enough. I wanted to ask you a question about Extinction Rebellion and what you thought about that.
I think I love protesters. Okay, it almost doesn't matter what you're protesting. I stand with the protesters. I think that the protesters in today's police and prison planet are putting their lives on the line, trying to do what's right by the rest of us, by all of us. So otherwise they wouldn't be out there in the streets.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do when you actually support a position from an activist group or from a political party, and then you discover that their funders or their sponsors aren't who you imagine that they are? That's rather disheartening sometimes.
Well,
right?
I don't think any sponsors are who you might imagine that they are. I think sponsors always are going to have an alternative agenda, which is money, the almighty dollar, never ending, forever. That's it, zero. That's our bottom line. That's all we really care about.
So the last part of the discussion on the call-in show, you were talking about the future of the world and what we have to do.
Yeah,
make a more positive future, and I think it's important to put this in a broader context. Like, as a species, from what I understand, we're about 200,000 to 300,000 years old. I think they found bones in Morocco recently that are 300,000 years old that are Homo sapien, which means that we had already crossed the African continent 250, 300,000 years ago, a long time ago.
Right.
And to try and imagine that, as Americans, how we self-identify as Americans, that we have all of this responsibility, and also that we are completely responsible. I'm not denying our responsibility. We consume like way more resources than any other people in the world, and we are responsible. But at this moment in time, just the last 400 years, in the context of 300,000 years of existing as a species, that's kind of interesting, right?
It's
our numbers didn't really change dramatically until about 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago, when we stopped and started making houses and started growing food and taking care of animals.
Right.
But prior to that, for over 280,000 years, we lived in equilibrium with the other animals and plants on the earth, right?
I guess that would make sense.
Okay. So we cut the trees down to make our homes. We destroyed the grasslands to grow our food. We, polluted the rivers as we started living near rivers. And now, 12,000 years later, which isn't very long, if you think about it, this is where we are.
Right.
How do we change that?
I
we
think
have to reduce our numbers, don't we? And that's the first thing we have to do.
Well, I think that there has to be like a sit-down strike type of thing where we just all come together and say, look, this is what's happening, and we have to change this immediately. Because if this doesn't change immediately, whether it be the end of use of fossil fuels or whatever,
dependency on technology to the degree that we are.
We're going to not make it. Our children, this species is done. And the thing about it is that every other species on the planet is tied to this species at this point. So we can't have a mass extinction. We can't have a human extinction without killing everything else on the planet.
That's true, and we have over 1,000 nuclear reactors scattered around the world.
Yeah,
and they have to be maintained with electricity and water 24/7
forever.
Any crises, like say a solar magnetic storm, cuts the power down. There's going to be nuclear power plants around the earth that need to be tended to until they're disabled.
Right. Which is forever.
Humanity has created this horrible problem. But 12,000 years ago, I believe there were about 20 million people. Human beings, Homo sapiens sapiens.
Really?
There's 7.6 billion.
How many of those 12,000 years ago you think lived in China?
I think people were scattered all over the earth 12,000 years ago. And I don't know.
I
But
think
I
there was
do know
more
that-
people. I think there was more people than that. I think there was probably close to 50 million people just in China 12,000 years ago.
Well, we can argue about the numbers or look at different sites on the
Yeah.
internet to find numbers. But the general point here is there's a huge difference between the impact that 50 million people have on a planet versus 7.6 billion people, soon to be 10 billion people by 2050 on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just the amount of resources it takes to feed a human being, provide clothing and shelter and all the amenities that humans expect to have at this point in time. It's not sustainable.
I think again that's part of us all coming together and kind of making those expectations that you're talking about more realistic and focusing on what the priorities are. You know, if the
Mhm.
priorities are food and shelter and clothing, then that should be a simple thing to actually to make so that there is for everyone. You know, if that's what our priorities are. But our priorities now are, you know, greed and never-ending war and
Right.
just bullshit that's just going to end horribly.
I agree. And I don't see how you get out of that conundrum as long as people are allowed to have private property and use that property at their will as they see please, right? So like Bill Gates, for example, can use his money in philanthropic ways that benefit programs that he believes are beneficial to everyone else without having to consult everyone else before he makes those decisions, instead of having us collectively make those decisions. So if we have these huge decisions to make, how are we going to make those decisions if just a few people have all of the power and they own all of the resources in a capitalist economy?
This is what I just said at the beginning of our conversation, was that we have to have something like a sit-down strike where everything stops. And then we have some kind of a way, because this is simple. We're obviously able to all communicate with each other, so we should be able to figure out some way to have like a giant summit, you know, whether it be on everybody's cell phone or whatever it is, and figure out what the priorities are that we have got to do now, instead of acting like, oh, we can figure this out sometime down the road, because we don't really have that time anymore.
A global assembly, something like a global citizens assembly.
Yeah.
The problem with this is that the people who actually own the resources, who own Comcast, who own YouTube, who own Google, who own Facebook and Apple and all of the tech companies, it's not necessarily in their best interest to allow a platform to exist for people to freely share the ideas that they have in their minds to try and create a better world.
Well,
So
I will
barrier.
agree with you that they're absolutely not trustworthy. Those people those entities you mentioned.
Mhm. See, look, I'm sympathetic to Extinction Rebellion, like the idea of drawing attention to loss of biodiversity and to the impacts of like CO2 in the atmosphere and climate change, all things that are real. But the problem I have with it is I see the backers of Extinction Rebellion from articles that I've read, like Corey Morningstar is a journalist who's covered this extensively in The Wrong Kind of Green, is that the people who are actually financing Extinction Rebellion are wealthy investors who are going to make money from the transition from fossil fuels to the new green technology. These are investors and people who run companies that are focused towards like electricity and green technology. So their motivation for sponsoring Extinction Rebellion isn't to slow economic growth or decrease human numbers or stop the impact that humans are having on the planet. It's to profit off of the transition to a green economy. And it's kind of manipulative, the way that the media is portraying this as people who actually care about the environment when they're just transitioning to new technology that they're going to profit off of.
I think there's a great deal of manipulation going on as far as the media and you know what direction we should be headed and what direction we're actually headed. I mean, the media has just become so incredibly untrustworthy and so clearly having an agenda that they are, step by step going to make happen. Um, but coming back to the sponsors thing that you're talking about, I think sponsors are always going to have an agenda, and
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger standing in a photograph next to Greta Thunberg, for example. That's kind of strange, right?
I don't understand what you just said. I got the Arnold Schwarzenegger in the photo, but what was the other
Arnold
part?
Schwarzenegger, the actor. If you Google, you'll find a photograph of Arnold Schwarzenegger standing behind Greta Thunberg with his arms around her,
Huh?
and it's a story. It's a story in the Guardian, and he actually is giving her a Tesla car for her and her parents to travel around Canada and North America while she's, pursuing Extinction Rebellion.
Well, that's nice of him.
Isn't that like why would you have any ulterior motive to do that? To give an electric car to a green activist who's advocating for a transition to a green economy that a lot of people are going to make. It's a $40 trillion transition.
It's a lot more than that.
That's going to be paid for by taxpayers.
Well, you know what? I mean, the taxpayers are spending trillions of dollars on wars that they just don't want anything to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I don't know. I think that when you talk about money and how much stuff is going to cost, that you don't factor in like all the new jobs and stuff that are going to be created from it too. And that, when you start talking about this new economy, that new economies have a whole bunch of new businesses that come around, and new businesses need to hire new employees. And you know what I'm saying? It's not just, but your concerns about sponsors are completely understandable. Just, I think you should just get it that there's always going to be, a sponsor is always going to have an ulterior motive.
You visited the Occupy encampment in Seattle. Or
Yeah.
You visited the encampments, right?
Yeah, we were there when they set up all the tents, man. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah. I visited the encampment in Olympia a couple of times, but I had some problems. And in the bigger picture, just analyzing it, right, and looking at it. And the message was like the 1% versus the 99%.
Uh-huh.
The 1% who own everything versus the 99% who don't have everything, who don't own property.
Uh-huh.
But there was kind of a double entendre there, a double meaning that I saw. And what I saw was Occupy represented 1% of the population that was aware of the social injustice, while 99% of the population just trudged along not being aware of the problem. So 1% of the population is aware, 99% of the people are just indifferent to what was happening.
It was really weird what happened with Occupy and how people didn't support it. You were asked how I was saying that I always stand with the protesters, because it was really weird that the people on the right didn't support the Occupy, because the people on the right were staunch Obama supporters. I mean, haters. People on the right hated Obama, and here's these people in the streets basically protesting Obama, because that's what Occupy was about. Occupy was about Obama promised us change. Okay, Obama told us. Obama told us, when you go into the streets, I'll be right there marching with you. Okay, that's what Obama said, word for word, and the Occupy protesters were saying, here we are, where's our fucking change? Okay, and that's what Occupy was all about. And then it became about the police state and police brutality and freedom in America. And again, why people on the right didn't support that, because they were calling out Obama. over and over again. They're calling out Obama on his drone strikes, on his banking shit, everything over and over again. And the people on the right hate Obama. So why didn't they stand with the protesters, the Occupy? And the people on the left, they treated him like they were evil because the people on the elites on the left are all, you know, funded by the people that the Occupy were protesting. So
The elites on the left are also classes. If you read the articles, or not the articles, but the letters to the editor of the Seattle Post-Intelligencer and the Seattle Times, you read the letters that people wrote in during Occupy. They described occupiers as filthy and dirty hippies, all the stereotypes that people associate with protesters. Like, those were, you know, middle class, upper middle class folks, and who were appalled by what they were seeing.
Right, exactly. That not only that was proud Americans in the proud American tradition taking to the streets, demanding the change they were promised. Okay,
In a progressive city as well.
Right.
Right.
Well, that was all over the world. Actually, it was giant. It was huge.
Course.
Yeah.
But in Seattle, it was also in a city where one would imagine the town would be receptive to the message of Occupy.
Right. Yeah. You would think that it was, and what you're saying, the way they painted the Occupy protesters, basically it was programming like every day on Fox, you'd hear people calling the people, the Occupy protesters, they call them public defecators and public fornicators, you know, and it was beyond,
which is how they characterize homeless people every day. In other words, what I saw at my Occupy encampment was that the homeless community around Olympia kind of like migrated in a way to the Occupy encampment where they could receive aid, right? And then the people would drive by, Subaru Nation would drive by, right?
Yeah.
And they were appalled by what they saw. So they made an association that, like, you know, homelessness, icky, Occupy, icky, and they kind of meshed the two ideas in their mind.
Right.
And neither idea is actually true either. They're both like this myth that's perpetrated in their minds. It's classism, Mike.
Yeah.
I think it's classism. It's classism. And that's a hurdle that, as long as you're going to vote for a Democrat, Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, or even if you think Elizabeth Warren is a saint, they're all going to be overridden by the power of money within the Democrat Party by the beginning of the election.
You know, as you're probably right. I mean, I really see Tulsi Gabbard as different. And when you see the way the media responds to her, you know that she actually is different. You know, it's like the way they responded to Ron Paul, you know, but money controls everything. So of course she's going to have to, and they put these hurdles. You have to have this amount of money, and, you know, and so, I mean, but by the time it's actually the main election, you know, not beyond the primaries, yeah, everybody's going to be, whoever it is that the candidates are, they're going to be selling out.
I was looking at some numbers, some pretty common numbers that you can find easily on the computer. That 250 million Americans are eligible to vote, can vote. And in the 2016 election, something like 63 million people voted for Trump, 65 million people voted for Clinton. But what is that? That's like 135 million people voted for a Democrat or Republican, right? So that automatically means 65 and 50, right? 115 million people just didn't vote right out the gate. And of the people who actually voted, half of them voted for a Democrat and half of them voted for a Republican. And the progressives in the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, for example, were automatically discarded, you know, by the time the general election even began.
Right. They did.
People.
They did the same thing to Bernie in the 2016 election that they're doing to Tulsi Gabbard now.
They also let Jill Stein and Sherry Honkala be chained to a chair and go to jail as they were in front of one of the debates.
Right, I remember that. Yeah, that was awesome.
So they've actually stopped third parties from organizing and from trying to gain momentum all across the United States. The
Yeah.
Democrat Party.
Look, I've said again and again, the Democrats and the Republicans are the ones who've brought us to where we're at now. Both parties should be outlawed. They should not be allowed to participate in our fucking democracy or republic or whatever you want to call it, our fucking form of government ever again. Banished. That's it. Because they fucked us all. And they just keep doing it over and over again. And as long as we allow there to be Democrats and Republicans, nothing's going to change.
So that's the thing that's interesting. There's 250 million people who are eligible to vote in this country, and only 135 million of them voted, which leaves this difference of like 115 million people who just didn't give a fuck and didn't vote for Republicans or Democrats, Trump or Clinton,
or felt that they weren't represented, felt that the Democrats and the Republicans, neither one of them represent them in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not about to vote for somebody who doesn't fucking give a shit about me.
Nor should you. But that same party is also preventing other people from expressing their opinion. So why would you reward them by participating in their primary process?
Again, I think that they should not be rewarded. They should be banished. That's really, I mean, that's what it comes. That's the only way to save the U.S. government.
Okay, so hypothetically, Tulsi Gabbard wins the nomination, and
Okay.
she's an admirable candidate because she's against war, and I'm definitely against war. But she also is going to be representing the party of Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And this is a point I want to make. I looked at some like the Real Clear Politics poll numbers, over the last 6 months I've been following them, but yesterday I looked at them. And even after the debate, it seems as though if you take Warren's number and Sanders' numbers, all right, and just leave Gabbard aside for a moment. If you take those two numbers and put them together, they get about 35% of the Democratic vote. And that's been consistent, whether like Warren is at 15 and Bernie's at 30, or Bernie's at 17 and, Warren is at 19. It always ends up being between 35 and 40% of the Democrat electorate. What that tells me, Mike, is that 55% of the Democratic Party is tied to people like Biden and Harris and Booker and Buttigieg. That's who they are. So even if Tulsi Gabbard got the nomination of her party, I don't think it's possible, but if she did, she would be like representing all of these kind of horrible politicians and their party.
The thing is these polls, you're talking about polls, right?
They are polls. They're cumulative polls, several polls looked at together.
See, the polls are skewed, right? You get that. I mean, they have qualifiers for the polls, like when they call you to poll you on the presidential candidates. The first thing they're going to say is, did you vote in the last election, right? And then they're going to say, did you vote for a Democrat or a Republican? Right. And if you don't say I voted for a Democrat, which means Hillary Clinton, you don't qualify to be in that poll. OK, so if you're not already a giant Kool-Aid drinker that would sell your soul so much that you would vote for a horrible candidate like Hillary Clinton, then you don't qualify to vote to be part of the poll. So the polls are completely skewed. I saw a poll last week that showed Tulsi Gabbard tied with Elizabeth Warren in Iowa.
It's possible. I'm just saying, and I believe you. But what I'm saying is that over time, it appears that within the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, and these other candidates that I believe were put forward by the Democratic Party to dilute the Sanders campaign from the very beginning. Whatever, they are, garnering support within the Democrat Party reflected in the polls. There are people supporting these candidates who are more likely, like Amy Klobuchar, they're more likely to support Joe Biden than they are to support Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. Unfortunately, I don't want to believe that is true, but I think it is true.
I think Joe Biden is the worst candidate out of the whole bunch. I think there is just zero chance that Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is a horrible candidate. Anybody that's
They're all corrupt politicians.
anybody that has a fucking soul should be able to beat Donald Trump, you know, and and like I'm saying, the only one I can see on the entire Democratic fucking stage that actually has a soul is Tulsi Gabbard. Although that the Luis what's his name, the Castro, he looked pretty good yesterday. He had a couple of pretty good moments.
Labor Secretary or Health and Human
Yeah.
Services Secretary.
He had a moment when he said that police violence is gun violence, and I don't want to be sending police out to neighborhoods to go up to people's homes when they're already shooting people that are just sitting at home playing video games with their fucking kids. I don't want to send them out to be collecting people's guns. I thought that was a pretty good moment.
He also, I took notes. I got a good 5 pages of notes. But another thing that Castro said last night is he said that how can you elect Trump because he's setting IS prisoners free and he's letting out IS prisoners in Syria. He says it's a disaster. And he also said, which is like Kim Jong-un, if we betray the Kurds, why would any foreign leader trust us ever again? So in terms of foreign policy, Castro's positions were pretty right-wing from what I saw, in line with Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, and even Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are kind of quiet on things like defense authorization bills and supporting conflicts.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you guys and this is the problem. And this comes back to what you're saying about the sponsors, those people, you have to wonder if they have like giant military industrial complex sponsors and how much money they're getting from big pharma,
Which is what all viewers should check out opensecrets.org.
There you go.
Which is a great resource to double check political candidates and see who's actually funding them. But that photograph of Arnold Schwarzenegger standing behind Greta Thunberg, I found to be very disturbing. I also read an article last week that said, most of the pollution in San Francisco Bay, which is the super progressive, ideal progressive city in America, most of the pollution that they found in the sediment of the water was from shredded tires.
Wow.
Shredded tires. So all the tires that, on the freeways around the Bay Area, the water goes into the bay and the sediment gathers in the bottom of the bay and just toxic shredded tires. Now, if you even switch to electric cars, just imagine 3 million people switch and they stop using regular cars and they use electric cars made out of steel with tires. They still are going to generate this pollution in the bay. So we're not going to be able to just switch to a new technology to solve the problem. There's going to be pollution associated with any technology, like wind turbines that kill birds, migratory birds, right? Or the solar panels in the desert that fry everything in sight.
Yeah.
Or the dams, like you live in Washington, like the dams, right? The dams destroy the salmon runs.
Yeah.
That's green energy. That's what they want. They want the whole world to just be filled with big mirrors that burn everything.
Right.
Wind turbines.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should continue to burn petroleum. We shouldn't. We should stop. But we just can't continue consuming things and using new technology and imagine this is going to solve our problems.
Look, I have to say that I think that capitalism can't survive. And capitalism and humans can't survive. It won't work.
So there's this idea called dominionism, right? Where what God said to people, you get to make the decisions about what happens on this planet. And that happened about 12,000 years ago when we cut the forest down and started making our homes. So it is biblical in nature, but I think as long as people hold on to this concept that we can just like do as we will to the planet and have as many people as we wish, that there's going to be a serious problem.
I don't like the idea of children. Okay. I mean, I think there's plenty of people. Well, I don't know if you heard me talking to Dwayne or not, but I was saying there's already all these unwanted children on the planet. I don't see how we need 60 million more of them. So,
2 billion more with like 9 zeros.
Yeah. No, but I honestly, I don't think that, I think that this is sustainable. I think we can have more and more people, but we have to prioritize, we have to figure out how we can continue to grow if that's what, what we're supposed to do. I'm not a breeder. I don't do that. I mean, I don't have
children either. And I don't necessarily think it's a good idea for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But that aside, that I think is part of, there's actually a movement of people, right, who consciously don't have children.
I consciously didn't have children.
There's a movement. I can't find it right now, but there's a named movement of people who are consciously not having children, women and men not having children, because of environmental consequences of having kids.
Well, so I've always looked at it like, it seems really selfish to bring, this perfect little pure entity into this slimy fucking sewer of a world, and then, like, it's just too much, man.
That's the reason why propagandists use children for their campaigns, to appeal to your base sentence, right? A good example of that is, again, you can do a quick Google. The Guardian made a video with Greta Thunberg and Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And Greta Thunberg shows up at Barack Obama's offices in Washington, D.C., and he kind of leads her to his desk. And they sit down in front of cameras, or she stands and looks at him, and they have a serious conversation about what it's like to feel the end of the world is happening.
I feel bad for her. I think when she looks at Congress and she says, why are you talking to me? How dare you put this on me? How dare you look to the children for hope? Fuck you. I think that it's really unfair. I think she's trying to make that clear, that, she's not the person to be having this discussion with Barack Obama. It's like I keep saying about, the sewers when it rains too much and people fucking drown. Why can't the fucking NASA scientists take a couple of weeks and figure out how to make sewers where people don't fucking drown when it rains too much?
Oh, like in San Diego, where the man plugged up the hole, and it was 14 million gallons of waste was like spewed into a river estuary, right?
Yeah. In
California, because they found a body obstructing the sewage treatment facility.
Wow. We have to, there's a better way, okay? And we deserve better. There is a better way. And it can't be that complicated to figure it out. It's just a matter of, we're all so busy, and we're all, I don't want to say we're all in a rut, but it's kind of like we're in this rut, where this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we do. And we're so busy, and this is what we do. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard to get out of that rut, especially considering how busy we are. So that's why I'm saying we have to have like this sit-down strike. Just everything has to stop.
Like a general strike. I think is it the 100th anniversary of the general strike in Seattle coming up? I thought that was in 1919.
I don't know.
Largest general strike, and one of the largest general strikes in American history.
Right on.
100 years ago. There's also another event coming up this November where 4 anarchists were murdered in Centralia, Washington, 100 years ago.
Huh.
They were murdered. There was like a victory parade after World War one year after the war, like the first Veterans Day or International Peace Day, and soldiers marched down the street and pulled the anarchists out of a bookstore, beat them to death, and hung them from lamp poles down the road on I-5 from where you live.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that happened 100 years ago. So there were huge movements and social upheaval that was occurring 100 years ago, just like there is today. And unfortunately, we have an extra 2 or 3 billion people on the world, and we have nuclear weapons, and our problems haven't been resolved. And that's because the people who make the decisions in the world stopped people who had conscious plans of making the world a better place,
But see,
because of their greed and their profit incentive,
but
which kind of is about individualism, right? I mean, doesn't Bill Gates have the right to do that if it's God's will?
but at this, well, but see, at this point, we have the ability to move beyond that, right? At this point, we have the ability to where we can all sit down together and have a conversation. Something that we
Because of AI.
Well, because of the internet, basically, because of cell phone technology, we have the ability to everyone everywhere join in the conversation, and we can all take part and be part of moving forward into a brighter future for all of us, as opposed to having elitist leaders. But we have to take it back, and the only way we take it back is we move beyond the labels, and then we all come together to sit down and say, this is what our priorities are, and it has to begin now.
I appreciate your sense of optimism, but I just don't see the elites who have the power sitting down and willingly making concessions to people on demand. I don't think it's a matter without violence.
I don't think it's a matter of them, participating. I think we should eat the rich. I think the first thing that has to happen is that all of the natural resources need to be claimed by the governments of those countries. Okay, those belong to the people, not some fucking chemical, not some company who's
mining company.
Yeah, not some fucking petrol company who's pumping the oil out of the ground. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to all of us. And I don't think that we want to pump it all out of the ground. I think we want to save some for later. So, and it's poison. I think we all have to recognize it is poison. We're poisoning our environment. We shit everywhere we go. And that's not the world that we want to live in.
Yeah, I've been homeless before, and I've also done hiking. Hiked in the woods for times, and we make about a pound of shit per person. Is what I calculate, right? And if there's 7.6 billion people, that's 7.6 billion pounds of shit every single day created by people.
You're not counting their pets.
Oh. Yeah, pets. I forgot about that one.
I pick up about 2,000 bags of dog shit a year.
Right. So there's acres of land. There's acres of land that's just being allocated for a dog to eat for a year.
My dog eats salmon and turkey.
Yeah. My cat that I used to have probably would have ate birds, which is why there are no more birds on Earth. Which is why I don't have cats anymore.
Nah. Fuck cats.
Anyway, it's a pleasure talking to you. I'll send you $5 for pizza, although I lost my job 3 weeks ago, so I'm on an edge. But I'll send you $5 for pizza.
Well, that's super generous of you.
The program.
Thanks a lot. It's Chris, right?
Other folks are participating. That's right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. That's super generous of you, man. I really appreciate all your help.
Welcome.
And I hope you find something that you want to do real soon.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But thank you. Have a good night.
All right. And you can hear in Chris's voice that he's really losing faith in the whole thing. And that's sad. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got, he's considerably younger than I am. But maybe it's that he has much longer to go than I do, and he has the feeling that he's not going to make it. But you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, everything could change. Tomorrow, there could be a District 9 type situation where these giant flying saucers appear above Washington, D.C., and New York, and Miami, and Los Angeles, and Seattle, and Chicago. And they say, okay, things are going to be different now. And we go, I, for one, welcome our new alien overlords. Right? Because what else are you going to do? And, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. So keep the faith, because if we can, like see like on this call-in show, right? When we do this, everybody moves beyond their labels. Dwayne loves his labels. He wants to make sure he's this, I'm this, right? And everybody kind of like, well, who are you? What label is it that you attach to yourself? And I'm like, fuck those labels. Okay, those labels, none of them fit me. And if you think that one fits you, I feel sad for you. No offense, Dwayne. But because you're more than that. You're more than this shitty little fucking corner that you're painting yourself in. Way, 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 way so much more. And we deserve better. And I mean we. I don't mean me. I don't mean I don't mean my group. I mean all of us. We deserve better. We deserve better. We deserve the best planet that we can possibly have, because the only reason that it's not that is because of rich people. Okay? Because like this guy's saying, well, Bill Gates could be making all these things happen, but he only focuses on this and this. Bill Gates is not about making the planet. Bill Gates, you know why Bill Gates loves Africa? Because there's no better place to go slumming than Africa. Okay? I don't know if you guys know what slumming is, but that's when the rich people get all dressed up in their fancy clothes and they get in their fancy car and they put the top down and they go through Harlem, go through the slums, and they look at all the homeless people and all the bums, and they know how much better they are people, what better people they are than everybody else in the world. And there's no better place to go slumming than Africa. Right, Bill? So anyways, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. If you say so, maybe you have some personal knowledge that I don't know about. HRC. Anybody else? Okay. We're past that 2-hour mark. We're well beyond it. Hey, and all you guys, okay, I get you're like, I really can't afford to give anything to Mox News. I get that. But you hear Chris, right? Chris, he lost his job. And somehow he's going to come up with $5 for me. Going to kick down for some pizza money. This guy who's worried about what's coming next. Okay? Because he knows I'm here fighting for all of us. And he wants to try and help to make sure that doesn't end. Okay? And if you want to help to make sure that doesn't end, you can do that. $5 is very generous. Super, super generous of Chris. Okay? But it's generous of anyone to take the 2 minutes that it takes out of your busy life and give something back. It's very generous. Whatever it is that you give back. It's super appreciated, and it makes a huge difference in my life. It makes a difference between me not getting a donation and me getting a donation. Okay? Because the last 3 days I got no donations. Dwayne gave a donation today, and Chris said he would give a donation, and Chris has always been a man of his word. And so far, only Dwayne has given a donation. Okay? So, I'm just saying, I'm not complaining because there's great people. Woolco gave a donation last week. You know, all I'm saying is Chris can do it because he knows it's important. And it is important. And I wouldn't ask if I didn't need it. I would not ask you for help if I was sitting on a pile of money. I promise, with all my heart. There'd be no reason. It would be worthless. It would be beneath me at that point, you know? And I really feel like it's beneath me now. But you know, if you need help, it's okay to ask for help. The only way people ever make anything happen in the world is by someone else helping them make it happen. Okay? And I've been making it happen here on YouTube for 16 years. How many years have I been serving you? I'm here every day. Okay? Please give something back. It'd be very super nice of you. Okay? So I guess we're done here. Thanks so much for joining us, because always nicer when you're here. Okay? It's in fact, it's so much nicer, and it's so meaningful that if you weren't here, if you guys weren't here, this would be pointless, right? That's how much meaning it is that you're here. So thanks so much for being here, and stay cool. One of these days, this war is going to end. It's got to end one of these days. But it's probably going to take all of us coming together, moving beyond the labels, right? Imagine if we all moved beyond the labels and came together and ended war. And then we had a party. Hopefully Mox News will be there to celebrate that day with you, because it's going to be one hell of a cool party, right? Stay cool until that day.